Welcome back to Constantly Curious, the podcast where we dive into the mysteries of the universe. One fascinating topic at a time. Today, we're stepping into the competitive world of science, where some of the brightest minds in history have clashed in fierce rivalries. These aren't just your run-of-the-mill competitions. These are the intense battles that shaped our understanding of the world, sparking new theories, inventions, and discoveries that would change the course of human history forever. In this episode, we'll explore some of the greatest scientific rivalries ever. Rivalries like Tesla versus Edison, and another infamous rivalry, Newton versus Leibniz, and discover how their conflicts drove progress, but also sometimes held it back. So, let's get started. Let's kick things off with one of the most famous scientific rivalries, Nikola Tesla versus Thomas Edison. This battle wasn't just about innovation, it was about vision, philosophy, and, ultimately, what kind of future we were going to live in. It all started in the late 19th century. Edison, already a well-established inventor and businessman, was promoting direct current, DC, as the future of electrical power. Tesla, a former employee of Edison, came to believe that alternating current, AC, was the better solution for distributing electricity. The problem? Direct current was less efficient over long distances, and that was a huge issue for expanding electricity networks. Tesla, always the idealist, believed in the superiority of AC, and Edison, more commercially minded, refused to accept it. He didn't just argue with Tesla, he launched a full-blown campaign against AC. Edison made it a point to demonize AC, even publicly electrocuting animals to show that AC was dangerous. This campaign would be known as the War of Currents. The rivalry took a tragic turn in the early 1880s when Edison began pushing for the use of electric chairs powered by AC as a form of execution, further tarnishing AC's image. But in the end, Tesla's AC system won out, especially after George Westinghouse partnered with Tesla to install AC systems, proving their efficiency in the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Tesla's brilliance triumphed, but not without a bitter, decades-long fight with Edison. As we look back on this rivalry, it's clear that both men had immense contributions to the world. Edison, of course, is still known for inventions like the phonograph and the light bulb, but Tesla's vision of wireless power and his work on radio and AC revolutionized modern electricity. Both legacies continue to shape our world. Now let's rewind a bit further in time, to one of the earliest and most heated scientific feuds, the rivalry between Isaac Newton and Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. It's a rivalry that shaped the very foundations of calculus and our understanding of mathematics. In the late 17th century, both Newton and Leibniz independently developed calculus, a groundbreaking new branch of mathematics that would go on to influence physics, engineering, economics, and virtually every field of science. The issue? They both claimed to have been the first to invent it, and their followers got embroiled in one of the nastiest academic feuds in history. Newton, the brilliant English mathematician and physicist, had been working on his version of calculus for years, but it was Leibniz, a German polymath, who published his work first in 1684, several years ahead of Newton. This sparked a bitter argument about who deserved credit for the invention of calculus. The conflict turned personal. Newton, backed by the Royal Society, went on a campaign to discredit Leibniz, accusing him of plagiarism. Leibniz, in turn, defended his work and even published letters and documents to back his case. For decades, the two men, and their supporters, squared off in a bitter intellectual battle that marred their legacies. In the end, neither man truly won the feud. Today we recognize that both Newton's calculus and Leibniz's calculus were revolutionary, though their notations and approaches differed. The rivalry, though, was a reminder of how fiercely the scientific community can protect its turf, and how sometimes ideas evolve across different minds in parallel. Both Newton and Leibniz made monumental contributions to the field of mathematics and physics. Newton's work in classical mechanics and his laws of motion and universal gravitation were groundbreaking, while Leibniz's calculus notation is still the standard used today in mathematics. Their rivalry, though, ultimately fueled advancements that we still rely on to this day. There are countless other rivalries in the world of science that have played key roles in shaping modern knowledge. Let's quickly touch on a few more. One of the most famous biology rivalries occurred between Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. Wallace, often considered the co-discoverer of the theory of natural selection, had his own independent research on evolution. While Wallace sent his findings to Darwin, who was already working on his theory, It wasn't until Darwin published On the Origin of Species that Wallace's contributions were somewhat overshadowed. Another scientific rivalry that shaped the world of physics occurred between Albert Einstein and Niels Bohr. While both men contributed profoundly to the understanding of quantum mechanics, they famously disagreed on the philosophical implications of quantum theory. Their debates would become legendary, with Einstein famously saying,
God does not play dice with the universe,
in reference to the unpredictable nature of quantum mechanics. And who could forget the rivalry between Marie Curie and Pierre Curie's contemporaries in the field of radioactivity? Curie faced prejudice as a woman in science, yet she went on to win 2 Nobel Prizes and make incredible breakthroughs that laid the foundation for modern nuclear physics. The challenges she faced in this male-dominated field were as much a battle against societal norms as they were a scientific rivalry. These rivalries, though often contentious, pushed scientific progress forward. Rivalries forced scientists to sharpen their ideas, defend their theories, and seek out more evidence. While not all of these battles were fought with kindness or mutual respect, the end result is undeniable. Science progressed because of them. So, what's the takeaway from all these epic scientific rivalries? For one, it's clear that competition in science isn't just about ego. It's about challenging ideas, questioning assumptions, and refining our understanding of the world. Sometimes the greatest ideas emerge not from collaboration, but from confrontation. And at the end of the day, it's not always about who wins or loses. It's about how the clash of ideas drives us forward into the unknown. That's all for today's episode of Constantly Curious. I hope you enjoyed exploring these legendary rivalries with me. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode with a friend, and leave us a review. Also, if you're listening on a podcast app, check out my YouTube channel. If you have thoughts on other scientific rivalries or want to suggest topics for future episodes, don't hesitate to reach out. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and stay curious.